Boom, boom, boom. Hey, what's up, everyone? AJ Writes Crypto here. Let's get into another amazing show. Already got about 50 people in the house. Make sure you smash that like button on the way in, or as my friend would say, click it politely. You don't have to smash it. It's not going to break. That's not the right thing to do. All right. So with that being said, big shout out to everybody already in the chat. We have Brian Maver, Kenan Hinson, Tony, Rocky Top. We got Marco, Bradley Boyko. What's up, Bradley? How you guys doing? So we got a bunch to talk about today. And in the second end of the show, I'm going to bring on a special guest, someone I have not talked to on the show before, but going to be a very relevant conversation to everything going on. Big thank you to everybody that was in the house for the Algorand interview with John Allen Woods. Of course, we start promotional material for the space Saturday. We get almost 600 people who set reminders for this space, and we recorded it on the back end here. So I'm going to release the full interview. If you missed it, don't worry. The full interview with John is going to be released on this channel either today or tomorrow, aiming for today. And so, with that being said, so we have 600 people supposed to with reminders set, and we go to start that space. It doesn't start. Elon just would not have it. And I turned my phone off. I killed the app. I tried everything. That space just would not start. So we had to make a new space. And, we still had, like almost 300 concurrent for a lot of the space. But I was just so bummed that we spent so much time, pumping up this space, and we get all these reminders set, we put all this work in, and then Elon's just like, no, you don't get that one. But we still had a really good time. The space itself still went well. We still had a lot of people in there. And it's really good to get messages from people like, hey man, I wasn't really big on Algorand before, but I think now I'm going to get more involved. Or hey, I've heard about Algorand, but I didn't know that much about it. Thanks for that space. Those are the spaces, the comments that I really care about, because I know the Algo fam. I mean, when it comes to tribalism and crypto, I mean, the Algorand, they're ravenous. They're very loyal. And that's amazing. That's good. You kind of want that type of energy in a community. You have to be bullish. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we also, it's really important for Algorand to kind of fix those misconceptions. There are a lot of things that happen that people don't actually know the truth about, that they got wrong or whatever. And it's really important to me to kind of straighten that out. And with that being said, to get a lot of messages after the space, I probably got 10, 15 messages after the space saying, oh, I was on the fence and now, I'm going to get involved, or I hated Algorand before and I think you changed my mind. Stuff like that. That is just really what does it for me. So big shout out to anybody here that was in that space yesterday. Like I said, if you missed it, don't worry. The interview with John Allen Woods will be released on this channel today or tomorrow. Big shout out to everybody in the chat. Got over 120 people in the house. Thanks for being here. Make sure you smash that like button if you haven't already. And like I said, if you're just getting here, I do have a special guest coming on in the second half of the show. And we are going to close the show today at 11:45 Eastern Standard Time. I do have a hard cut today because I have to prepare for a space with Mario on the roundtable. So there we go. I am going to transition into a quick market overview. We'll run through some stories and we will talk about the video I put out yesterday. Very important video. If you haven't checked it out yet, definitely check it out right after this. I'll put it in the chat. Not looking good, everybody. Not looking good. And I'm sure we can already kind of gather that. Let me get a fresh refresh here on the market overview. Let me pull this bad boy over so we can see. All right. So we have Bitcoin almost losing 41 already. All right. We saw Ethereum's holding strong. It's very interesting that, a lot of the market, a lot of the altcoins are bleeding. Bitcoin's bleeding. A lot of the stock market was bleeding. We did have a slight stock market bounce this morning, but, on the other side of this, meme coins and NFTs are ripping. Pudgy Penguins is at 1.7 Ethereum. Canpie Pandas went back to 1.8. Sappy Seals are at 0.7. NFTs are looking really good right now. I'm super bummed I didn't get a little pudgy. I should have bought a little pudgy. I should have bought 5 little pudgies, and I would have doubled my money. But all good. Just because you see an opportunity doesn't mean you have to impulsively jump on every one. I do need to trust my gut a little bit more with those things, but no big deal. Just find the next one. XRP 53 cents. Cardano losing 50 cents. Not good. That was a very big psychological level for Cardano. Chainlink's holding around 15. ICP under 11 now. Things are bleeding. This is very unfortunate. Near under $3. VeChain to 7. Quant 111, still holding above 110. That's not bad for Quant. The graph back to 15, losing 18 in a week. Algorand back to 17, losing 10 in a week. Man, and this, saw this coming. If any of you out there have saw the video I put out yesterday, I actually filmed that video Wednesday, and I tried so hard to get that video out the same day I made it. And I wish I did, because, just as I said, things are falling out. I want for definitely watch the video if you haven't already, but here's the quick overview of that video, is that there are a lot of good bullish scenarios right now that can kind of have confluence together and charge us up for like a super cycle type bull run. We have the Bitcoin ETF bullish scenario. We have the Bitcoin halving coming in a few months. We're 100 days away, I think, something like that. Very bullish, very bullish. And then we have interest cuts coming on the horizon. There is a theory from Benjamin Cowan: just because interest cuts are coming doesn't guarantee a market pump, because of the state of the macro that's causing the cuts. That's a whole nother theory. But generally speaking, in 2022, we had a bear market because the power of the dollar was increasing. When the dollar gains strength, the markets lose strength. So now they're going to cut the interest rates down. The dollar is going to lose strength. So the markets consequently should gain strength, right? So we have the interest cuts, the Bitcoin halving, the Bitcoin ETF confluence together, looking like we're going to have some sort of supercharged run here. At the same time, from a technical analysis standpoint, it doesn't really look the best. I will show you really fast. Wait, where's my Bitcoin chart? There's my Bitcoin chart. 1 second. Share this tab instead. All right. So, and I'm not saying this is the apocalypse. Okay. I'm not saying the apocalypse, but what I am saying, this is a very similar pattern you will see set up all the way through. First of all, we lost, this little 41 level here that we bounced off of several times. I can get rid of that confirmation, that alarm. This level here, 40,100, very important support resistance level from previous price action. But if you notice, let me make the oscillator a little bit bigger here. So, we have price go up on the charts, anchor wave, trigger wave, bearish divergence on a three-day Bitcoin chart. The larger the time frame, the more these things matter. So, 3-day bearish divergence playing out for Bitcoin. I'm not saying that's the end of the world. I'm not saying, we're going to 10,000. But I am saying that in terms of support resistance, we really want to see if we could bounce off 40 and stay above 40, best case scenario. Worst case scenario, we come down here. The worst case scenario is that, so from 2023, we spent all year trying to get above this level here, this little value area we stayed in. This is actually the line right there that we fought to get above. So 32,000, 32.3, right around there. Okay. We got rejected. We finally broke it, October, November. So what we really want to avoid is going back into that value area, and the bottom of that value area is around 25,000. So between 32,000 and 25,000 is super big value area for Bitcoin. This range right here. Okay, we do not want to go back into that range. That would, worst case scenario is that we go back into that range. So even if Bitcoin loses 40, if we could turn around at 36, 38, one of those support resistance lines, that would be great. But if we lose 32, we're back into the value area from last year. And, obviously, consequently, not good scenario for the altcoins. So this isn't just a Bitcoin idea. A lot of the times on this show, we will talk about, the E-mini futures chart, which is how I like to look at the stock market. But instead, we'll look at the S&P 500, the actual S&P 500 index. And even on this one here, if you look at the 5-day chart, no, I didn't mean to have the brush still on there. But this is just a quick little overview of the video I put out yesterday for anybody who missed it. Just like with the Bitcoin chart, this is the 5-day, not the 3-day. Price go up, anchor wave, trigger wave, bearish divergence on a 5-day chart. This doesn't mean it's automatically the end of the world. These things can get invalidated. And to be fair, the stock market has bumped up since I made that video. If we look at the 2-hour chart, stock market woke up this morning. Woke up big, and this is the support resistance line at 48.17 on the stock market. So if you want to follow the stock market, set an alarm on that level, and that will be a breakout, because this was from when Bitcoin. So when the stock market all-time high from the bull market, the stock market topped off about a month after the crypto market, right? So, but to think that the stock market's juiced all the way up here where it was back in 2021, and Bitcoin didn't even get the 50,000. It is kind of a scary narrative. So let's hope that this thing can push above this, because when I made the video the other day, we were over here headed down. But we still have to get above that support resistance line from the 2021 high to kind of change everyone's minds on that. So there, and there's also this narrative that like some crypto traders say, like Gareth Soloway or Altcoin Daily, that the stock market is correlated to crypto. I feel like that is certainly the case. Let's be honest here, they're all risk assets, but some crypto traders will tell you that it doesn't matter at all. I tend to disagree. I tend to like to look at the stock market as a gauge. I'm not saying it's the Bible, but I'm saying it's important to know the health of the overall markets as well, considering as institutional money continues to come into crypto, that it's going to get more and more closely correlated to the stock market, because institutional money is still coming into crypto. It's only going to get more correlated over time, is my theory. So, with that being said, there's bearish divergence on the stock market. There's bearish divergence on large time frames, stock market, Bitcoin, the total chart, all cryptos and stablecoins added together, and Ethereum. For a more detailed explanation, definitely watch the pre-recorded video I put out on this channel yesterday. It's definitely not looking the best. It is okay. I don't hate that the stock market popped up in the past little while, but until we break that support resistance line on the S&P, there are other metrics to look at the stock market. I just prefer to look at the S&P. It makes the most sense to me. But so be careful out there. And a lot of the bleeding has already happened from our bags, Christmas time, the week of New Year's to right now. Algorand was 25 cents. Now it's in the 18s. The graph was 20 some cents. Now it's 15, like a lot of the altcoins I personally hold. So it is a part of the game, but we also have to consider the macro, and we also have to consider this is the way things go. We've seen dumps before the halving before. This isn't anything out of the ordinary. This is just the market trying to shake out the non-believers, trying to shake out the people who are scared before the run happens. And as long as we stick to the theory that it has been dump at the halving, a year and a half after the halving, the top of the bull market. That has happened every time with every Bitcoin halving. So unless this is the time the cycle breaks, I am continuing on as if the theory is still true, and I hope that is the case for sure. So fill up them bags, fam, says SDog21. Big shout out to SDog21. Zapster, are you doing Rate My Portfolios today? No, not doing them today, only on Tuesdays and Thursdays for the second half of the show. I used to do it just once a week for the whole show. I kind of felt like that was my brain would just hurt afterwards. So I figured I'd do 2 separate days and do it at the second half of the show. And Cycle Marsh says, let's just watch Supercross instead. You know what? That's a damn good idea. I just want to watch Eli Tomac take out Jet Lawrence and throw a dirty scrub and pull its hair off over a triple. That's really what I want. But it's okay. We got to talk crypto. So keeping it rolling here. Got a couple other things to talk about. I do have a guest I'm going to bring on here in about maybe 5-7 minutes, something like that. I want to take a quick look at the gainers and the losers in the top 100s. All you traders out there, it's always important to look at the coins that have the most volume or have been the most volatile. Those are the coins you're going to find your trades in. I'm telling you guys, when I do my day trading, 9 times out of 10, I pick which coin I want to target from just looking at the biggest gainers and the biggest losers of the day. But that's how we know where the volume is, and that's how we know what's the most volatile. So let's share this tab instead. And in the top 100, we have not many coins winning. When Flare is only up 1.5%, and that's the only coin winning, that's how you know it's a bad day. We got Conflux. Let me pull this over a little bit and zoom in on the losers so you guys can see it a little bit better. Let me see how that looks. Okay, there we go. We have Conflux down 18, SEI down 9, Bonk down 10, Mina down 10, ICP 10, damn, near 9, Phantom 9.5, back to 35 for Phantom. I'm definitely going to buy some more Phantom. And a lot of people have Algorand 17, Ordi 66, AVAX 32. Man, this is not good. Not good. And definitely, are we going to look for short continuation, or are we going to try to catch a falling knife? In those situations, I would always advise to not try to catch a falling knife. and if you want to catch a falling knife, find a good support resistance level from previous price action to not, we don't guess, we react, right? So if we're trying to catch a falling knife, let's try to catch that falling knife on a support resistance level, not on just let's hope it turns around now. That's never the case. You always want to find some theory to go off of if you're trying to go long after a dump like this. So with that being said, I do want to keep you guys plugged in on a couple of things here really quick, and then I will bring the guest on in a minute. All right, so this is the video that I put out yesterday, crypto crash. This is the thumbnail of it. From a technical perspective, right now, things are not looking the best. I'm not saying it's the apocalypse. Oh, and there's one thing I wanted to bring back up in the Bitcoin chart, right? So, and this is what I'm saying, that, this isn't the end of the world here. Let me go to the 3-day chart, because I am saying it looks to me like things are going to continue to fall. It looks to me like things are going to continue to fall. Look at this. We have, if you look at the setup, right? We have the bearish divergence. We have price going up, anchor wave, trigger wave, trigger wave. But look, just because a bearish divergence is playing out in a large time frame doesn't mean we're not eventually going to turn around. I hate when I leave the brush on like that. So look, everybody, if we go back to the sell in May, walk away dump, look at this bearish divergence on the 3-day. We had the price go up, right? Anchor wave, trigger wave, trigger wave, trigger wave. I mean, that was the clearest cut case of bearish divergence we've ever seen. And look, we turned around and put in all-time highs in the second half of the year. So just because this is happening, just because maybe a dump is coming in, it might not be that severe. It could be worse, but I'm saying just because a dump is incoming doesn't mean in a few months that we aren't going to turn around. I'm saying that for the hodlers. I'm still believing in the long-term dream, but I feel like with the ETF just getting improved, there's a lot of manipulation right now. And this kind of makes a lot of sense from that perspective, from the institutional perspective. Retail is not the ones who are dumping this. Okay, it's the institutions. So with that being said, I'm going to go. Big shout out to John Allen Woods. That interview yesterday about the Algorand, roadmap, amazing. Thank you to him. Thank you to the Algorand Foundation for making it happen. Shout out to Algo fam. I want to just show this tweet really fast that, just a big thank you to everybody. We had a really, really good time. Like I said, to anybody who's coming into the show a little bit late, I am going to put that whole video out and a bunch of shorts of it out on the channel here. Also have an Algorand price prediction video coming out next week. Very, very grateful for the Algorand family, John Allen Woods, everybody. Thank you. That was an amazing time. Also, this will be the last day available for the second drop of my clothing line, Get Rich or Get Wrecked. A lot of them have sold. There are still a handful left. If you want to get in on the second drop of the grogger, there's only 100 ever made. Once those 100 are gone, they're gone. Today's the last day you can get them. It looks like this, and it's a big nod to the Algorand family, because shout out to the Algo fam. Everything with the roadmap. There's a lot of momentum with Algorand right now. I've always been aligned with the Algorand ethos. I really have been a big part of that community for a long time, well over a year now. And I wanted to make this drop for them. And big shout out. Oh, I didn't change the tab. Yeah, it looks like this. Big shout out to that community. And make sure you get rich or get wrecked. Definitely going to be continue building my clothing line out over time. Going to have my own website coming out here pretty soon. There will be items that you can get all the time. But a lot of like the exclusive grogger drops, the whole idea is based off the individual drops of 100, and that's it. I really like that idea. I like how we're doing it. I like how awesome the clothes look when we do that. So we're going to continue doing that. So big shout out to the grogger community. This is the last day you can get in on this hoodie. And also, if you want a chance to win a hoodie, if you don't want to spend the money, this giveaway is still open. I just put it down below in the chat. If you want to get in on, all you have to do is retweet this tweet and give a follow to my friends over at cryptochips.io, my sponsor for my clothing line and my overall sponsor for merch in general. They make a lot of really cool stuff, like the canvases of custom NFTs, the levitating coins, t-shirts, hoodies. They make it all. Big shout out to Crypto Chips. Definitely go give them some love over on Twitter. I got a super chat here from Tony Denning, you get a deal. You get a deal. Everybody gets a deal. So we got like Oprah. The market is like Oprah right now. We also have a $5 super chat from Mackie Powers. What are your top 3 coins you're looking at as the market falls? I mean, to be honest, I haven't been actively day trading this past week, unfortunately. So I'm not really looking for shorts at this point, unless like we pop up, pop down kind of thing. But I'm really looking to accumulate the coins that I already have big bags of at these cheaper prices. I mean, it could continue to go worse, but we also have to consider that if we're going to buy on the way up, we also got to buy on the way down, considering we don't, with a long-term mindset, where the prices range is now is nothing close to where it is when we're actually going to sell. So the 3 coins I'm looking at are the coins I'm looking to accumulate the whole time. You know, the Algorands, the H bars, the Graph, VeChain, Quant. That's basically my top 5 pick. And then, you know, larger caps like Cardano, XRP, some Solana, Chainlink, maybe a splash of Matic, stuff like that. But, you know, I'm definitely looking to accumulate for the bull run, not trying to get fancy. In the meantime, I'm definitely going to be much more active day trading. I'm going to have a big sponsorship announcement coming out here very soon on the channel, and an additional show on the channel, an additional live show on the channel where all I'm doing is trading. I tried to trade on this show. It doesn't work. There's the chat, there's the news, there's so much other stuff going on. Trading is the thing I have to be hawk-eyed. I have to watch it because I am a scalper. I do a lot of leverage, a lot of trades last less than 20 minutes kind of thing. So with that said, you know, I am going to have an additional show coming for you guys. Some of the shows I'll already be in the trade. Some of the shows we're going to find a position together and hope for the best. And I will lose trades on the show. You know what I mean? That's a part of the game, but it's also, when I lose trades, you're going to say, wow, he really didn't lose that much. You know, maybe I should start moving my stop loss up. There's a reason I trade with such a tight stop loss, because you can lose 8 trades in a row, win the 9th trade, and be a profitable trader. Once you get your risk management down to that point, trading gets a lot less scary. Trust me on that. Even if you get sucked out a bunch of times, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry, because one of these times you're going to bop through. So with that being said, I really appreciate everybody in the house right now. We have about 300 people. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you smash the like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You don't have to smash the like button, or you could just gently press it, gently click it. And you know who says that? I stole that line from someone, and who I stole that line from is a good friend of mine in the Algorand community. I had the interview with John Allen Woods yesterday on Twitter Space. Like I said, that interview will be coming out on the channel here very soon. But, you know, I have someone here from the Algorand community, very well read, very solid YouTube channel. He covers a lot more than just Algorand, but is also, you know, one of the leaders out of the Algorand influencers. I'm bringing to the stage my good friend Frugal BC. Algo. Frugal, bro, thank you for coming on the show. How you doing today?
Hey, I'm good, man. Thanks for bringing me on. And yeah, I had to snicker a little at you stealing my subscribe line, but I'm there for it. It's cool.
I only stole it because I knew you were listening. I'm not going to say that all the time.
No, it's all good. It's all good, brother. Yeah, it's so great. Yeah, great spaces with John Woods yesterday. I mean, he's really become like kind of the de facto like Vitalik is for Ethereum, or Charles Hoskinson is for Cardano. He's really that for Algorand, even though he's the CTO. And I think it's a unique skill set, because he's both got the technical side down as CTO, but he's very charismatic, and he's really good at explaining a lot of these concepts without kind of like speaking down to you. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, John has a way of explaining like the most. I mean, there's obviously, listen, man, I'm not a coder. I don't know how to program. But I do. And there's also like a level of blockchain that you can understand a lot of it. But once you hit that wall, and this wall is, can you code? No. Right. Okay. Well, you can't go further. And, but you can still, you know, but at the same time, we don't need to understand how an email works to send an email to our friends. Yeah. And so so you can learn a lot about crypto. You can make a lot of money in crypto without knowing how to code. But I do really appreciate his effort to be able to, with the dynamic round times, the analogy with the bus, instead of waiting on the rigid schedule, some people will get left behind. And that brings, the time of finality, which it was once 4 seconds, then it was 3.3, and now it's below 3 seconds, around 2.829. Yep. I mean, genius stuff. So, you listened to the space yesterday, and thank you for being there. What was your biggest takeaway from the space? Something that John said that really got you excited?
Oh, well, he dropped a real bomb on your show, actually, because it had come out already that, Algorand was going to go to pure Python, which is a pretty big deal because Python has a lot of developers. And, I personally can code a little bit in Python. Certainly not, barely a hobbyist, but compared to other programming languages I've tried, it's, pretty straightforward. But then he announced like another big one is coming, and that really surprised me because I didn't think they were going to add additional languages. And now I've been kind of trying to guess which one it might be.
Yeah. So between us and the 316 people listening that should gently click the like button, when the Python thing first got announced, I'll talk to John on the phone like once every 2 weeks, once a month. We stay in touch.
Oh, nice.
And the Python thing initially came out, and I was like, okay, so you can go from teal to Python. Like that means you can go from teal to anything, right? And he like hummed and hawed. And I was like, no, John, if you can go to Python, you can go to anything, right? And then he kind of explained to me that there's like this waterfall technology where it has to like basically once someone codes it in Python, before it finalizes, it goes back to teal. But there is, you know what I mean? I think that's actually how it works, but they can set it up so they will be able to open to a lot of programming languages. It's just a matter of which ones they're going to divert that effort to. I think I might have an idea of which one it is, but even if it's one or the other. But even in that case, it's only going to open the door, and Python's only going to open the door to what dApps and the question I asked about the smart contract upgrades and the capabilities, that I didn't even realize that when I asked that question, I was asking about AlgoKit 3.0. Did you know that?
Oh, no, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, because it was that one line from the roadmap, about the smart contract upgrades, and he was like, "Oh yeah, AlgoKit 3.0, blah blah blah." I was like, "What?" Yeah. Like I didn't even know that. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, no, you got that instinct where you hear something and you're like, "Oh, I just broke news." That's big. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. And I think the bigger picture too is that Algorand is finally they're kind of getting it through their heads that this is marketing as much as tech, and he said it in your space. It's like 50-50, whether you like it or not, it's 50-50 marketing tech. Because Algorand tech it's been good. I mean, it's never really been the trouble. The trouble is like that. And, Sean Ford, who is the CEO of Algorand Inc., no longer is, but was back in Decipher. We had this AlgoFam chat that was like a live spaces on Twitter, but we were all in the room together. And he said something like, yeah, we think the tech sells itself. And I said, yeah, actually, that didn't work out so well for Betamax, did it? I'm like, you got to have some marketing. You got to have some space. This is what people care about right now. And, maybe someday it won't matter because all this stuff will be under the hood. But for right now, like we're just at the stage where you got to market. And I think the chess thing is that, I don't know if you can tell from behind me, but that's a printout from one of Algo God's Dale Forward's Algo God series, and it's a chessboard. Okay. I'd probably have to leave the screen for it to come into focus. I don't know.
Yeah, I see it back there, sort of. Yeah, cool,
but
I really like
that. I thought that was a really unique way to present it, and I like the direction that they're going with that.
Yeah, I mean, John and I have had a lot of conversations about I said this in a video before. That's like Algorand. It's like imagine being the fastest runner in your country, but you don't make it to the Olympics because you get beat in a popularity contest. Right. And that is straight up like the best analogy I've ever personally written for Algorand, because like if you really look at the technicals with what they're doing, the speeds and everything, and you compare it to the biggest names in crypto, I mean, they're right there, if not better in some metrics. You know what I mean? And really, it's really a bit of earned content versus marketing focus versus, that's why I asked the question, like, if, the FIFA thing, which he did clear up, the FIFA was from not the foundation, but the Algorand Inc. But, where is that marketing getting redirected to? I feel like he nailed that question pretty good. And the other question I really liked is that, obviously John can't talk about price. Right. We can talk about price all we want. We're just influencers. Yep. We can talk about that shit all we want. And I have an Algorand price prediction video coming out next week. Maybe I'll run it by you before I put it out, and I'll get your thoughts on it. But John said top 5, if not top 15. What were your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, he said that. Yeah, I think that's kind of funny because if you're talking about market cap, like ipso facto, you're kind of talking about price. So it's kind of like a little workaround. Like,
I kind
I
of
mean,
feel like
that's
it was
the
a very, I don't think it was a dirt, because you can say, I want to be a top 5 crypto project. I mean, that's fair,
sure. Oh yeah,
you know?
yeah. No, I think it's a way of getting around the legality because you know what's the lever that's going to change? It's the price to make the market cap go up. So,
Yeah.
but no, I think that's yeah, and I think that's legit. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with that. I just think it's kind of funny to it's because it's kind of ipso facto the same
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, I like that they're shooting for the moon, and you know I think they can do it. I'm always curious about how people get into algo. Like, I think for a lot of people that I ask about, it's usually people who are frustrated with the Ethereum experience, and that was kind of me as well. I tried a lot of
Mhm.
other DeFi stuff, and it just wouldn't work for whatever reason. But when I started doing stuff on Algorand, it actually worked. So that's how I became really focused a lot on Algorand, and I've been pretty impressed with HBAR and some other. Cosmos is pretty good too, actually. A little more
Yeah.
expensive, but I mean, that's probably coming from Algorand too. You know, John said the same thing on my channel that he said on yours, that those fees are probably going to have to increase at some point because it's just so cheap. And
They
I think
have, I mean, they
they
have
make like
to make it
two,
self-sustainable.
yeah, they bring in like $2 million in fees a year, he said, and that's not much.
It's nothing. It's
That's
nothing.
nothing, nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a joke. Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, especially with consensus incentivization, it's already been said that a lot of that is going to come out of the fees, so they're going to have to hike up the fees a little
Right.
bit. But I really think that, and that was a kind of a big part of like what he was saying about like that doesn't
Mhm.
diverts from the initial from Algorand, but we have to shape and grow like the just with the communities, like no one, we have to do something, you know what I mean? And we also want it to be self-sustainable because there's
Yeah.
only 20% of the supply left to go.
Right.
And once that 20% is gone, which he agreed with me that they're gonna put it out slower than
Right.
faster, but that once that's up, that's up,
Yeah.
so
And it's a balance too, because I mean, one of the big features of Algorand is you can do everything without really worrying about the fees. I don't think, oh man, this is going to take like 3 or 4 transactions because it's still less than a penny. You know, when you
yeah,
do it, you can do little micro things that you can't really do on Ethereum because it's just too cost prohibitive. And even
yeah,
something with you know, like a 10 cents fee, you can't have like transaction after transaction. You know, the whole Four Oranges experiment was a good example of that. Like you
yeah.
could not have done that on many other chains.
Oh
There
no.
are other ones that you could do that, maybe HBAR or something like that, but not many other chains you could do that little silly mining experiment where you're flooding
Exactly.
flooding the network
Exactly.
with with transactions. So I think it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you can look at Ethereum and how much the gas is, I did a swap. I was shitcoin shopping the other day, and I bought like a couple $100 in this one meme coin. It was called Byte for anyone who wants to know. BYTE. Did good on it, whatever. But I put in a couple $100, and the gas was like $40.
Oh yeah.
It was $40, and it was
Right.
like a $400 trade. And I'm up. I actually sold it already, whatever. But at the same time, when you consider in like Algorand, people are humming and hawing about the fees going up a little bit, and the fees are like a penny now. If the fees went to 20 cents, who would really care?
Oh yeah. And I mean it could probably 7x and still be under a penny right now. It's so ridiculously inexpensive that
Yeah.
yeah, they
I mean,
definitely can there definitely is plenty of room to amp that up and still keep it, you know, kind of under the radar. But yeah, you can buy meme coins all day long and Algorand, all the ASAs. I don't
yeah.
know that I would. I have my own thoughts on the multiple meme coins or other ASAs. I'm pretty careful with those because a lot of them just kind of, you know, they end up getting rugged or they just don't perform well or they're all over the place. And
Yeah.
I'm big, so like I tell people I don't really have a lot of loose Algorand. Like most of mine is being put to work in various farming programs. I'm
Sure.
pretty big on tiny man farms right now. They
Yep.
seem to be one
Yep.
of the more stable ones and
They've been
work
doing good
pretty
stuff.
well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did my governance with Messina this time around.
Oh yeah, did that last
Yeah,
time.
I think I put like 7,000 into it or something like that, and just gonna see. I just wanted to pivot to something else. I really like what they're doing. I think that
Mhm.
there needs to be more competition. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah.
Especially in terms of governance. So it's definitely good to see them trying to switch it up and stuff like that. So you know how
It's
it is.
kind of
It's
funny
yeah,
because it sort of defeats the purpose in a lot of ways. Like it's good for the on the money side, but it also like you don't really vote through it, of my understanding, unless I'm missing something.
I think you
So
can vote, but you don't have to.
maybe that's right. Yeah, you might be
Yeah.
right about that.
Yeah. I can double check, but I'm pretty sure. Shout out to the Glitter Queen in the chat. Really appreciate it. So, Scott Ludes, we got a chat here, Frugal. You answer it first, and then I'll ask right after that. He says, do we know what Algo's short-term and long-term goals are?
Yeah, I think they laid it out there that they really want to be a top five cryptocurrency, but also I think they want to be the cryptocurrency of real world assets. So, like one of my favorite projects is Lofty AI, which allows you to invest in real estate through the blockchain with, starting at $50 tokens. So it kind of puts it in the hands of everybody. People can actually buy these real estate, even if you don't have like a ton of money. And, for me, it's like even buying a property around where I am, where they're not that expensive, it would still be a pretty significant chunk of my portfolio. So it's a lot easier to just experiment with this on Lofty. And I've kind of learned a lot about who pays rent and who doesn't and how that works. And so it's definitely been an education, but stuff like that really gets me excited. Like when blockchain you can actually use it for stuff, and I've got my coins that I buy and hold. I buy and hold. I buy Solana and take profits when it's up and whatnot. MetaStao, I was up like 5x. Of course, that's all dropped, but and but Algorand I like to say Algorand is the chain that I actually use, and I think that's what Algorand is trying to be, in my opinion. What do you think?
Well, to start, I actually got into Algorand from a day trade perspective. Believe it or not, really? I saw it. It was one of the charts that was on my watch list as a trader, and I saw a massive bull divergence like start to form around like 28 cents, and I went long, and it ran to like 42 or something like that. And I talked about that trade publicly, and that kind of put me in. And then I like kind of learned about the ecosystem backwards, because at the end of the day, I got into crypto. One, as a trader, as a portfolio builder / leverage trader, and then as a writer writing for Ben and stuff like that. And then I kind of got in backwards. You know what I mean? So but for short-term, long-term goals, I think the short-term is right now they are just putting gas in the rocket ship. They are with consensus incentivization, they're trying to incentivize consensus. So they're trying to get more and more and more Algorand staked, and when they do that, it makes everything more efficient. It adds security. The more Algorand they can get staked, the higher that metric is, the better off it is for everybody. And with moving away from the relay nodes to the more gossip whisper style network, it's going to make everything more efficient. They're basically trying to, with a marketing push, like we said, 50 marketing, 50 tech. I think because the tech is so good and they've improved the tech even more through the roadmap, and with AlgoKit opening the door for more coders coming in to build more dApps and applications, everything like that, I kind of feel like almost now their short-term goals is in the marketing 50% to prove to the world that the tech they have can project them to be a top 5, top 15 crypto project. And I think that's the short-term, and long-term is obviously, top 5, top 15.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I think even if you take like the iPhone, like it's a great tech, but Steve Jobs was also a great salesman, and he was really good at generating hype for products. So it is a two-way street there. And also I wanted to say that I think one of the things that I think is really important is that it seems like the leadership there is realizing that they can admit their mistakes and change course. So they're going away 100%. Going away from the non-marketing. They admitted the mistake about consensus, about having nodes be not incentivized, and like John said on your spaces, he said, well, we thought enough people would do it just out of enthusiasm for the ecosystem, and it turned out that wasn't true. And that's good to see. You want to see people who can say, you know what, we were wrong about that. Let's change course and put the ship in the right direction, so to speak. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah, the common denominator there is that Algorand can roll with the punches, and that was literally like a thesis statement that I had in a video I did a couple of months back. Like, they hum and haul about not being decentralized. Well, now they're doing away with the relay nodes. They hum and haul about the lack of developers. Well, they bring on Python. Like, I really feel like they have been able to admit their mistakes, and they have been able to realize, oh shit, this isn't good. We need to pivot and making that pivot work and everyone realizing why it's so important that they're doing it. They have been kind of shaping and growing in a really mature way, you know, and I feel like more chains should be able to point out their flaws and correct them. If everyone pointed out their flaws and corrected as fast as Algorand did and how well Algorand has done it, the space would be just, you got to give it to him. You have to give it to him, to everyone there, for sure.
Oh, totally. Yeah, totally agree. And yeah, I think I think the main thing that could be a real game changer is you need the dApp that extends outside the ecosystem, you know, whether it's a game, like just kind of like Axie Infinity was for Ethereum, because you saw all these people who were like, wait, what's this game I can like earn money on? What? They didn't care about Ethereum. I mean, they learned it afterwards, right? I don't know what that would be for Algorand. I mean, I think Lofty is kind of trying to be that, but you know, it's also going to come down to marketing, because those individual companies need to market. In fact, that might be a good idea for the foundation. Instead of grants for development, some grants might be designated towards marketing. Say, hey, you got a dApp that appeals to people. Lofty would be a great example. You don't have to have an Algorand wallet to use it. They have a built-in wallet, so you can do it without. But you know, that'd be a great example. It's like, hey, here's 50K or here's 100K. Go do this big marketing push to get people outside the ecosystem in. And that's, to me, that's what really where the bread and butter is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, we have to focus on, I think right now, once the roadmap gets like it's implemented, I think their focus should be 70 marketing, 30 tech. Because once the tech is there and the tech is in the bag, like, we can't just sit around and talk about computers all day. Like, we got to, I think you're right. There needs to be an app that extends outside the ecosystem. I think as the, you know, real world asset RWA concept continues to grow, I'm sure you heard in the space. I mean, right now the market cap for RWAs is $2.23 billion, and it's projected to be 16 trillion with a T in 2030. And even if that's a heavy projection, even if we only do 1/4 of that, anybody involved in that market share is just going, holy shit, you know.
Yeah.
So I definitely feel like focusing on the RWA narrative for them is, but I also feel like there needs to be a more maybe like fun, sexy type narrative. If it's incentivizing creators, if it's a game, if it's something that just gets people to play with it in a lighthearted manner, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I get excited about real estate, but I don't know if a lot of other people do. You know, I'm like, yeah, let's do this, cool. But
escrow, that's hilarious. Awesome. Cool, man. Well, Frugal, dude, I really appreciate your time. Thanks so much for coming on the show. Do you have any closing thoughts? Anything you want to say to the audience? Everybody in the chat right now, when you get done politely touching the like button, I just copy pasted Frugal's YouTube page right here in the chat. Go click on his YouTube page. Go give him a follow. He just hit 3,500 followers yesterday. If all 330 of you go follow him right now, he'll be pretty close to 4,000. This guy's super smart, amazing creator. He makes consistent videos. Go give him some love in the chat. Closing thoughts, bro?
Oh man, well, dude, thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the shout out, and I appreciate your spaces and what you were doing. I'm really looking forward to those trading videos, because that's something I'd like to just kind of explore a little more. But yeah, if you guys like Algorand and HBAR, and so sometimes I talk about other cryptos as well, you know, come check out my channel. I appreciate it. And if you haven't hit the like button on this one, you know, as I always say, you don't have to smash it. You just press it gently. So, AJ, I appreciate this so much. It was great talking to you, man.
Yeah, totally, man. We'll do this another time. Maybe like once a month. We'll touch base. Something like that.
Awesome.
I'll have you on.
For sure.
Awesome, dude. I really appreciate your time. Thanks so much for coming on. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk soon.
You too. Thank you.
Later, bro. Peace. Bye. Awesome. Big shout out to Frugal. Love talking to that guy. Super smart dude. Super smart too. I'm telling you guys, his channel is building. He's been making some noise, especially if you are bullish on the Algorand, HBAR, and even outside of that, go give him a follow over at Frugal BC. I really love seeing people that, you know, just continue making content. They don't care about the numbers. He's a dude that's super smart. He's really plugged in, and to him, he just wants to make videos and put it out. And that's really what it's about. He's not focusing on the politics. He's just making videos. And those are the types of videos I like to watch. To be honest with you, I watch his channel more than a lot of the large channels, because he's actually plugged in, paying attention every day, learning about all this stuff. So if you're bullish on that, go give him a follow. Definitely check him out. Solid, rock solid YouTube channel for crypto for sure. Big shout out to Frugal BC. Good times. Good times. Awesome. So it is 11:46. I did want to get into a couple other things here, but I really don't think I have the time to do it. I mean, I could show you this little thing right here. I am going to make a video very soon here about, the Algorand technical roadmap, which we have touched on a little bit here. And, Masari just did the Q4 2023 report for Algorand, 1.9 million new addresses, a 72% increase quarter on quarter. Transactions increased by 58%, and DeFi TVL grew by 109% in Q4 of 2023. So remember, just because the macro is bearish, just because there's bearish divergences in the stock market on the total chart, Ethereum, Bitcoin, just because things are going down doesn't mean more people aren't getting involved. This is a game of waiting. This is a game of patience. Warren Buffett once said that trading is the transition of wealth from the impatient to the patient. Be the patient. Trust me on this. Even if we fall 30% from here, 40% be here. Don't lose hope. Don't get toxic. Don't get angry. Be patient, because these things take time. We never just go up and to the right. No one's just going to hand you magic internet money. We have to fight for it. We have to educate ourselves as much as we possibly can. So stay plugged in, do your homework. My name's AJ Writes Crypto. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you please smash that like button on your way out the door, and go give my friend Frugal BC a follow. Rock solid YouTube channel. Much love for that guy. And I appreciate you guys. I'm going to head over to a Twitter space at noon. I do, some of you asked in the chat, I do a show called The Roundtable. It's hosted by Mario Nafal, who hosts some of the biggest spaces on Twitter, period. The Roundtable is one of his shows that he does, and I am the co-host of that show. I've been doing this for well over a month now. Very big opportunity, specifically in the Twitter crypto world. So, big shout out to Mario, big shout out to Goody, and shout out to anybody who watches that show. It's a good time. But, but I don't want to step on Ben's toes. If you watch Ben's show, watch Ben's show. I'm not going to say, watch this, not that, nothing like that. But, I like being active on Twitter. I like being active on YouTube. I'm holding it down, doing everything I can. So with that being said, me and the Glitter Queen are going to fly to Maryland this weekend. I'm still going to try to put a video out on Monday. I don't know if I'm doing a full live stream or not. Maybe I'll do an abbreviated one, something like that. I will be in Maryland, but I will definitely be back in this office Tuesday. And I will have some videos coming out for you over the weekend, a portfolio update, the Algorand interview. We're going to do an Algorand about the roadmap. So I got a couple videos lined up, and then next week is the Algorand price prediction. So with that being said, I really appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you politely, just gently touch that like button down below on your way out the door. I'd really, really appreciate it. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Cycle Marsh, let's watch some Supercross on Saturday, bro. Have yourselves a great rest of the day. My name's AJ Writes Crypto. Get rich or get wrecked. Later.